Hi guys, this is the second layout that I created with the sock hop kit, and the two add-ons that I have are penny loafers and um, poodle skirt. So I'm going to be scrapbooking that Instagram photo, which I have printed out at a size of 4 by 4, and I'm just picking out some papers that I like basically at this point. When the kit is this full, I can, I just like to go through and pick out colors that I like together and patterns that I like. That is a piece of Tim and Beck paper that I'm going to use for my background, and I am going to outline it. Maya is by my side as usual. She's taking over my space. You see, I move further and further to the right until I'm almost out of screen, and then I have to take her away. So I experimented with two different sizes of doilies and ended up going with a smaller one. And I have that arrow paper, which is the arrow paper is Fifth and Frolic from Dear Lizzie. And I just wanted the arrows to be pointing at the picture, so I just kind of oriented it in such a way that some arrows would be showing and pointing towards the picture. And then I had a strip of the vellum paper that I had left over from another layout, so I had that. And now I wanted to do this with last month's kit had some hardwood floor that was in the shape of chevrons too, and I wanted to do this with that, but I didn't get a chance to, so I'm doing it with this one. That's from the Everyday Eclectic collection. And so I just cut the little chevron pieces. I often do this with my square punch. I have a video, quite an old video at this point, that shows you how to make chevrons from a square punch. You just take a strip of paper and you just punch the corners of it. And yeah, because I took the end strip, the chevron was not symmetrical, so I had to trim off little pieces of the chevron the first time. So the second time that I went back to add more, I trimmed up that paper before I cut off the chevrons. So now this is a piece of basic gray paper, and I really like the red and cream colored print, and as I was cutting it I noticed that I also like the back side, which is that polka dot craft. And they look really nice together, so I'm just going to layer them together like that. And there's that piece of POW glitter paper that I didn't use in my last layout, so it's going to make its way onto this one. And I am going to use the geotag stamp, and I'm just looking for a piece of scrap paper that's actually from last month's kit. It's not scrap paper, it's paper I'm going to use, but I really like the blue color. It's kind of like, it looks like a fibrous paper, but it's just photographed, like it doesn't actually have fiber in it. And so I just stamped that and cut it out. And I'm going to leave it plain. I thought about putting a wood veneer asterisk in the middle of it, but I decided to just leave it plain. So I'm just gluing that doily onto the photo, and I'm going to move it eventually because I didn't put it in the right place. I wanted some of it to be showing at the top. I forgot that. And so now I'm outlining my layers before I glue them all together. That basic gray paper is so pretty. I love it. And so I'm going to layer those two pieces together and put them in behind the doily, and then I'm going to put that glitter paper right there. And this is where I think I realized that I wanted more of the doily showing, so I moved it up a little bit, and that just lets the glitter paper layer a little bit better. Just the way that they kind of overlap looks better that way in my mind. And so now I'm just kind of gluing it all together. This layout came together a lot faster than my layouts usually do. Like I rarely have any idea of what I'm going to do before I do it. So most of my layouts take about 2 hours to complete. And this one took an hour and a half, so it was really quick. But that's because there's not as much on this one. It's kind of a bit of a plain layout. Now here I'm thinking about, normally what I would do right here is I would put some washi tape behind the word Harlem just to kind of ground it so it's not floating on the background paper. But I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do, like, I had no reason to not want to do it except that I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I just needed to do something different. So I'm putting the washi tape as an embellishment instead. And I'm putting it in 3 different places with the arrows pointing towards my layout and like towards the photo. And I'm still kind of toying with the idea of getting a second kind of washi tape and putting it under the word Harlem. I'm also thinking about whether I want another word on there. At this point, my title was just Harlem, but I'm going to go back and add New York afterwards. And so these chevrons were covering up that green washi tape too much. I wanted the arrows to show on them, so I moved those chevrons up a little bit. And my plan here is that I'm going to stick these chevrons down, and then I'm going to sew them, and then I'm going to flip up the edges of them so that they have dimension. So I'm just using a tiny bit of adhesive in the very center, and then I'm going to sew over it. I do sew over adhesive. I try to go as light as I can, but I do sew over my adhesive, and so far my machine is okay. I don't know. I might live to regret it, but for now I'm sewing over adhesive. I do clean my needle. My needle gets a little gunked up, but it always gets gunked up on the outside of the machine, so I'm hoping that that's a sign that it's not getting gunked up on the inside. I don't know if that's a fair assumption to make or not. So there we go. Just did a back and forth stitch, frontwards and then backwards. I'm going to do the same thing here. It just gives it a little bit more emphasis when you do it twice. If you're bothering to take out your sewing machine, it's good to kind of have it be at least noticeable. So there I flipped up the edges of the chevrons, and now I'm putting the geotag down, and I'm thinking, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually reaching over to my washi tape and look, I picked up a yellow striped one, and then I decided, no, I don't want to add another color. Right now I have red and I have green and I have like neutrals, and I just didn't want to add another color. So here I decide to spell out New York. I mean, I've never heard of any other Harlem, but it's I just wanted the title to be longer. And I didn't have much else to say about it. We didn't actually go to Harlem. We just drove through it on the hop on hop off bus tour. But I loved this picture of these buildings all lined up, and I just loved driving through Harlem. And I think next time I go to New York, we're definitely going to have to spend some time there because there's some really nice looking shops and neighborhoods in there. So I'm just fiddling around a little bit with those letters, and I'm feeling like I wish they had washi tape behind them. To be honest with you, I'm kind of feeling like they are floating, but they're close to each other, so I don't know. I didn't want it to be too busy, and I really did not want to add another pattern. So it is what it is. The little feather looks cute there. I'm surprised that I was able to use the feathers because I've never used feathers before, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. So I wanted to put a pop of color, so I used those red enamel dots. And there's another one up at the top. You just can't see it. I think there's another one. I think I put them in 3 places, but one of them isn't showing. Yep, there you go. So I had to cut off the little corners of those chevron pieces of wood paper. And I have to say, whenever I put those little enamel dots with a big one with a little one, it always reminds me of sperm. I always have a little giggle at the sperm I put on my layouts. I don't know why, it doesn't really look like sperm, but it kind of looks like the little tail. Okay, so true confessions of a scrapbooker here. There's my layout up close. I think it's done now. So this is it. Came together super duper fast, but it was fun, and yeah, I really like it. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of do something simple with your scrappy products. So thanks for watching, guys.